Hello, the Astroflower family, and welcome to the Aquarius full moon, super moon, the blue moon, which was on the 19th, Sunday. Yes, we are already on the 22nd as recording this. And yeah, I just wanted to sort of touch base with, basically, we got 4 moons. We're going to go through the whole moon cycle and stuff like that, and the 4 moons, the 4 super moons that are coming up, including this one. And put it into context as well with Pluto and the transition of going into the age of Aquarius, and also pole shift. You know, so we're going to be tying in a lot of loose ends. Then we're going to be doing a collective reading for this month, and we'll do one on each. We'll try and do one on each supermoon. So we're going to do a collective reading for this month here. And then we'll do individual readings for the signs. It will all be time stamped. You'll find the stamp down in the description below. So yes, let's just go into it. So we had the super moon. It was a blue moon on the 19th. Now, I did an energy update. I'll try and post it around my head. I did an energy update which was concerning the messages from the earth and the chakra sequencing and so forth. And the message seemed to be about forgiveness as well. And about, forgiving oneself, forgiving the situation, forgiving the world, basically, and starting afresh. That's what it seemed like. That's what it seemed to come through about. And, you know, for me personally, it was a great weekend. And I was talking about the energy that was coming from the sun as well in some of the videos, and about how it was a shot across the bow. And you've got to tie all these things in together to the supermoon and understand what is going on in a conversation. So, you know, with energy, when you're working with energy and you start talking with trees and forests and stuff like that, you've got to understand the personalities of the different trees that make up the forest, and how that sort of family sort of fits together in a way. And therefore you can understand the conversation a lot better between what's going on between an ash tree, a silver birch, or an oak tree. You know, the ash tree, it's like a little bit like Penny Heaven or whatever her name is. You know, the chicken that was running around sort of saying the sky's falling in this because an acorn fell on her head. So that's what the ash trees are like. The silver birch are like the wizards in a way. They're the sort of the wise person or the wise tree of the forest, and they like the druid in a way. You know, they get a lot of, they sort of say, oh, let's find out what's going on in the world and everything like that. And the oak tends to come round with a judgment on the conversation, and sometimes conversations can last weeks or months with trees. So, you know, get to know your forests. They last a lot longer than you and I, therefore they work on a slower rhythm of life. So don't try and get speedy sort of internet answers from the forest. But when you're looking at the full moon and stuff like that and super moons, this is what you've got to look into, the whole context of everything that is going on around it. So we're in the fortunate position because we're in the hindsight sort of position. We're looking back through retrovision in a way, back to the 19th, but we're going to be looking what it's going to mean over the coming month, and basically get an idea of what's coming up over the next 4 months, really, because we got 4 supermoons. We had the first one on the 19th of August. That was on Sunday. That was to do with Aquarius, and there is particular reasons for these moons, these super moons. Then after that, we have the one on the 17th September, which is Pisces, the 15th of November, which is Aries, and then the 15th of December, which is Taurus. Now, usually each year you get 4 super moons. Sometimes you can get 3, sometimes you can get 5. And they tend to sort of go in blocks, as it were. And this has to do with the moon coming towards the earth, getting very close to the earth, as it were, or close within its orbit. And the supermoon that went off in August is about 36,000 kilometers or whatever it is from the earth. And then for the next 2 supermoons, I think it's called the harvest moon and the hunter moon. I'm not too sure. I'm sure you'll be able to correct me. This is the one on the 19th was the Sturgeon moon. And the next two that is going to be 35,000 kilometers from the Earth. And then we go back to 36,000 kilometers from the Earth. You know, these super moons, and then we got the one in Gemini, which is in the 15th of December. I'm not sure if that's a super moon, actually. So, yeah, you know, it follows through those sequencing through the star signs. And it's obviously usually it's the star sign opposite the sign that we're going through. So at the moment, we've just gone through Leo. So you know, in theory, we're into Virgo, and in theory, it should be Pisces, but it's not, it's Aquarius. And there's a reason for that, because we're coming into this year here in 2024. We had a recalibration of the moon cycle, and we had 2 full moons in Capricorn. Now that tends to happen once every 4 years. Sometimes it can happen 2 years, 3 years, but usually it happens once every 4 years where we get 2 full moons in a particular sign. And for the past sort of 20 years, the majority of signs have been cardinal signs, because we're moving in a direction, as it were. There's also been the double moons in Aquarius, and also a double moon in Sagittarius as well. So we have been, we've had a recalibration at the moment. So it's slightly out of sync. It will get back into sync next year. And then sort of stay in sync for another 2 or 3 years, and then we'll have a recalibration again. So understanding about that, and let's be clear, we have 2 full moons in Capricorn, and then we're going into a super moon in Aquarius, which is slightly out of sync to the opposite sign, because it should be in Pisces. But anyway, the reason I say all of this is because the changing from Capricorn to Aquarius in Pluto, that usually happens once every 250 years. So you get, that's the general sort of cycle, 220, 250 years, something like that. 226 if I remember rightly. But then you get accumulation of those cycles there. So once every sort of like 2,000 years, we end up changing heirs. So the last heir was Pisces, which is everything to do with Jesus. And now we're moving into Aquarius, which is all to do with John the Baptist. And before Jesus, we had Aries, which is all to do with Moses and blowing the horn with Moses. And Moses was not happy when he came down from the Mount Sinai, because basically everybody was praying to the golden bull. And so that's Taurus. So we have this sort of like synchronicity, this astrology that goes back many, many thousands of years. And this is one of those moments here where the supermoons and the moons and the eclipses and the solar cycles as well, and also the Pluto cycle and the pole shift are all coming into one. And this is really important to understand here. If you imagine you have, say, let's just say we take 3 different types of rhythms. If we take a rhythm of 3, 6, 9, because they're the most easiest to work with. Okay, so we got first rhythm is 3, second rhythm is 6, but then that's 2 rhythms of 3. And then we get on to the 9, and that's 3 rhythms of 3 and no rhythm of 6. But when we get on to 18, that's when we get the 3 rhythms of, we get the 6 rhythms of 3, the 3 rhythms of 6, and 2 rhythms of 9. And then we get this whole sort of cycle here. So you get this expansion of time, as it were, or cycles, and then you get these cycles that all come back to a point. And that is what is happening at the moment. And this is what, you know, pricked my interest in the supermoon. And I'm not an astrologer. I'm a healer. I'm an energy guy. I do a lot of dowsing. I see magnetic fields around everything, auras and so forth. It's just part of vision now. That's just part of life. And I work with energy, and I can understand astrology totally, but I haven't studied it enough. And so, I want to put that out there. And I noticed the rhythms a lot more, the longer term rhythms. And I wrote a book called The Event. It was all about this time here. And I first wrote it back in 1998, sort of like nearly sort of 25 years ago. And, well, 26 years ago to be precise. But yes, I wrote it in 1998, and there's been so many things on the list that I've been gradually ticking off over the last 20 years until I rewrote it again with Tanya. And, you know, there's many things that came out of that whilst we were writing it in 2018, 19, where it predicted everything that was coming out over the last sort of like 4 years. It was becoming very obvious to us of what things were happening. And this is because we're coming into a bit of an end game scenario in the way of energy. It's not the first time we've been through this. We've already been through this 4 times, and this is the 5th cycle. And when you think of the 5th plane, you think of the 5th element. You know, it's all about love. It's all about sort of forgiveness. It's all about finally understanding that we are one. And when I say we, I mean this planet here is one. We are one. We are one with trees. We are one with animals. We are one with fish. We are one with bees. We are one with the planet. And humans have been put in a position which I think is a very honourable position, that we have a huge effect on everything that is happening in this world. We do not define its destiny. I don't think we can save a planet, and I don't think we can destroy a planet. I'll be honest with you. I don't think we're that big. I don't think we're that important, you know. And I think once we realise that the cycles that going through the solar system is going through, and also our galaxy is going through, you know, all of these cycles, like the cycle of the Earth or the solar cycle to go round our local galaxy is 24,000 years. You know, that's just one day of a solar system sort of thing. Or 1 year of a solar system, 24,000 years, 25,000 years. You know, it puts things into perspective. Yeah, and like our daily cycle is minute to a solar system, and it's quite long to us as individuals, but it's even longer to a giant tortoise, I can guarantee you. They don't look at time in the same way, and I've been through that in another video. But so we have this sort of scenario going on where everything seems to be accumulating in one thing. Let me just have a quick say on the Pluto thing. Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008, and we know what happened in 2008 with the bank crisis. I did a video on moving into the age of Aquarius. You'll be able to find it on our channel. I'll try and dig it out and put it as a description, so you might want to have a look at that. But, you know, we've been, over the past sort of 2-3 years, we've been dipping in and out between Capricorn and Aquarius, you know, to move from one age to another. Within the celestial sort of scheme of things, it's not very long. It's like a day. But for us, it's years. It takes years to do that one day. So, you know, over the last 2 or 3 years, we've been doing that one day where Pluto's been messing around, going from Capricorn to Aquarius. And it started off in, you know, really from 2023. In March in 2023, it moved from, it was in Aquarius, came into Aquarius, sorry. And then from June, mid-June, then it went back into Capricorn, and then went from Capricorn, went back into Aquarius in the beginning of 2024 in January, and then went back into Aquarius in the February. So it only stayed a month. And this is a similar sort of thing. It's been in Aquarius now since February, and now it's gone back into Capricorn, and it will be in Capricorn through to the 19th of November. So between February and the 19th of November, there was this gap now where we're in Capricorn, where it's sort of like, I think with the blue moon, and this is what we should really understand, this is how it's sort of like giving us a heads up of how Aquarius, or Pluto in Aquarius, is going to be affecting us for the next, I would say, 5 to 7 years. And then after that, it will move into true Aquarius effect. Because it'll still be, you know, ricocheting off the effects of Capricorn. And then Aquarius will be affecting Pluto as it goes into Pisces, you know, in the future. And this is this whole sort of the moon in August going between February. So we've got February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So, you know, so it's February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So it's slightly in towards, it's not quite in the middle, but it's slightly towards the last transition when it goes from Capricorn into Aquarius, and in the last third of it. And this is why we, you know, this is also the super moons that we have after that. And it's setting the groundwork for what is going to be gradually opened like a flower over the next, as I say, 5 to 7 years. And I think this is really important for us. And I think it's an important time. If you look at Aquarius, what Aquarius is all about, the month of February. If we look at the month of February, it's all about purification. And it's all about forgiveness. And Aquarius is all about sort of like the human race, the greater scheme of things. And Aquarius is also John the Baptist. It is a bit like sort of baptizing yourself, washing away your sins and your ills and starting anew. And I think that's, you know, without sins, we'll never understand. So, you know, perfection doesn't exist in the majority of us. Perfection doesn't exist. So therefore, you're going to get it wrong occasionally. And it's having the humility to understand and accept when you get things wrong. And the thing is, once you do it, I had this experience, a near-death experience when I was 22. And I had to go through a very similar sort of thing. When I came back in my body and I came out of my body, I had to put myself at peace to what I'd lived for the first 22 years. And I'd done some pretty horrific things in my life. Well, they're not actually horrific things. You know, they're kid stuff. And I tended to go into a little bit into the extremes and stuff like that. But the things that really affected me, I wouldn't put it down as a sin, you know, and it was very simple things like there was a boy that was picked on at our school. And I remember it distinctly. We were in the class and there was other people picking on them. And they happened to be people I knew that was picking on them. And I didn't stand up and stop it. And that was one of the main things that I was not happy about within myself. You know, I was only 13 at the time, possibly 13, maybe 12. So, you know, I understand I was only a kid then, but I should have known better, I think. I should have known better. And, you know, I've made peace with myself about that. But it's simple things like that. And I think that's what the making peace is all about. I'm not here looking for, but it's also, and I was saying this in the other video, it's also about sort of being witness to the situation. So then people who are connected to a situation with me will also find their own peace or forgiveness in their situation, because I will be witness to the situation, if you know what I mean. Because it's never one-sided, as it were. So, you know, I can only wish peace or you know, wish peace upon anybody that I've been connected with from now on. Over the past sort of week or so, that I've managed to give myself a bit of, you know, well, I forgive myself, as it were. So, yeah, so allow people to forgive, give people the opportunity also to forgive. And this is this whole purification thing about Aquarius and the blue moon. And it brings the blue moon, like in our tarot cards, it brings things up to the surface that we don't really see, you know, that are hidden under the surface that we don't like to look at, you know, the skeletons in the closet and everything like that. So I think that's what that moon's all about. But it's also, more importantly, it's teaching us about what is coming down the line. And as it comes down the line, it's getting us prepared. And I think that's what the sun was doing as well, with a shot across the bow. I will be going into a lot more into pole shift and the pole shift energy. It should be coming out tomorrow or some point over the weekend. And it's getting down to weather patterns and things like that. But in the meantime, let's just do a collective reading, shall we? So we got the overall energies here, the karmic message on your relationship side, karmic message on your financial side, influence on the universe, influence on our past selves, our future generations, and our future selves, and what the sort of lessons we can learn from this sort of week. I'm going to put it all out. It's all going to be seen straight away. I'm not going to actually get the message because I do want to learn and read at the same time, and it's very enjoyable from my side. And just looking at that, look, we've got the overall energies there, converting ideas into reality. And I think that is a very Aquarius sign. It's an air sign, the Page of Swords. And I do think Aquarius has a very teacher thing to tell us about our own humanity. And as humanity as an individual, but also as a collective. On the karmic path, we got the Ace of Cups. Yeah, I think it, as I said, I do think it's all about love, really. And I'm not a great fan of everything is love, because it's not, you know. There is love. Maybe it's the definition of love that I have a problem with. You know, we apply love to so many different things now. It's a bit like, it's like if you paved the road with gold, gold would be worthless. That's why tarmac is not worth as much as gold, because there's loads of it. And, you know, when it gets banded around like love all the time, it just makes me kind of go, really? Do you really mean it? Do you really mean it? So I'm not a great fan of that, but I describe love as like a river that goes from a mountain to a sea, and that river is always going to be there, even if you and I are not there. But at the same time, whilst we're here, that river is there, and we can swim and play in that river together. We can fish in that river together. You know, we can wash in that river together. But at no point can I give you that river, or no point can I create that river. You know, that river is just part of life. Love is part of life, and it's a universal love rather than individual love. So, and you know, the idea of love really does sort of like, I think it needs a bit more sort of definition, or a little bit more respect more than anything else. I wouldn't say it freely. Okay, and that's just my personal take on it. On the financial side, though, we do have the King of Wands. Now that is really good for us collectively. It seems like it's through forgiveness we start anew. But then if we do start anew, we've got to take control of the passionate side, of material side, but we've also got to take control of our emotions, of how we apply our emotions in life, and become a gift to life rather than a destruction or a detrimental sort of allowing our emotions to be detrimental. Because when you look around the world and what's going on in the world, there's a lot of emotions out there. There's no doubt about it, but it's not very constructive. And I don't care what side you're coming from. You know, at the end of the day, we got to stop all of this of smashing hell bells out of each other. This is really unproductive, very old school, very yesterday. You know, let's get with today. Okay, let's just see how the universe is influencing us. Look at that, with the moon. As I said, we got the Aquarian super moon. So yes, it is bringing things up to the surface. This is the connection to the universe. It's bringing the unforeseen, certainly on the emotional sort of side more than anything else. And temperance, look at that. That's almost like the water bearer. You know, it's, that's what Aquarius is. It's like, it's almost John the Baptist sort of thing going on there. And being patient, I think this is one thing that Aquarians do have. It's being patient with the world around us and realizing that, you know, we've been doing things a certain way for hundreds of years. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to do the adjustment. you know, if it's done in a very peaceful way, it's got to be done over time. We've got to take our time to adjust. And I think that's where we've got to be a little bit patient. On our past self to our futures, we've been working on this plan, I think, for a long time. We've been gradually getting there. When I'm doing my healings and I'm looking at people's karma, you know, there's a difference between, there is two types of karma about at the moment. And, you know, people call them sort of indigo children and stuff like that. It's not indigo children. It's just, for me personally, so they don't come from another star system. There is some who have slipped into this reincarnation system, but usually it's a closed system because it's a place of learning. It's like, you know, sometimes you'll have a student come in halfway through, you know, in the third year or something like that, halfway through the years of doing a particular set of courses. But generally you'll be with the same people throughout that period there, like college or, you know, high school or whatever. And then once high school's done, everyone tends to go off in their own direction. And that's what's happening as well. And we've been planning on this with our reincarnation sort of thing. And we've got this new sort of type of karma that's come in place, which is like a computer having an updated system. So now it's got a memory card or a motherboard that is much more advanced in the karmic thing. And the old karmic blocks is like a square block. And this has moved on to something that is much more circular, much more fluid. So there's two types of karmas going on. And we've been planning for this moment because we're getting ready for the big shift, as it were. And I think that's what pole shift is all about. As I said, there'll be another video coming out of that tomorrow or at some point over the weekend. From our past on our financial side, we get the Eight of Pentacles. I think we've been working very hard. If you look at what humans done over the past 2,000 years, you've got to tip your hats off, man. I think we've done collectively, we've done amazing works. We've done amazingly bad things as well. You know, I think we'll all be the first to kind of say, yeah, I agree with that. You know, we've done some amazingly bad things, but we have done some amazingly good things as well. And that's the yin and yang of life. You know, we're going to get some good and we're going to get some bad. In our future, if we do get our heads around this emotion, this opportunity to follow our hearts and realize the plan that we've been working on that has brought the unforeseen to the surface, which is going to disrupt our plan, because plans are there to be disrupted. You know, rules are there to be broken in a way, you know, in certain instances. And you know, until you understand that the rule is a rule for a reason. You know, there's natural common sense rules that should be in place. And I think this is where the smarter aspect comes into it. I think we're going to be smarter because we're going to be much more in line with things. Much more in line with nature. That does not change the pole shift, but it changes our interaction with the pole shift. And that can change the outcome enormously. In the future of our financial side, and this is where I think it's going to play out the most, in our financial side, we have the Tower. Yes, I think there's a general Tower thing coming up this month. We've seen it in the weekly readings over the past sort of 2 weeks in a lot of signs. It is the end of a belief system that we're going through. We're coming to the end of that. Of a belief system, and we're changing things, and I think we're changing to something that is much more sort of it has far greater structure, built upon patience and almost respect for for our fellow person, you know. And I think that's what's going to be the biggest currency in the future, where a company that is very, very respectful, and it doesn't necessarily mean virtual signaling. That's rubbish. It's hollow words. And you know, common sense is so much more, got so much more value than virtual signaling about anything. And I think this is where we're coming into a whole new structure in life. On the relationship side, or on our spiritual side, on our emotional side, the lessons that we can be learned is the gift we have of life, the material side of life, how we interact with it in a very energetical sort of sense. The moment we combine that with our heart, That's the energy side of things, and how we combine it with our being. And that's when we can really start manifesting a great deal of things, because we're actually finally getting to the stage where we can connect the energy and the physical together. And that, I think, is the goal, the ultimate goal for the age of Aquarius, and certainly for the Pluto in Aquarius. It's going to open up a lot more avenues of how we do things in life. And look at that, out the top for the lessons that we need to learn, certainly on the financial side and on the material side of life. Say like, you know, if one country has got all the minerals, you know, it shouldn't hold the other countries to ransom. As much as, and it's got to be said, Western culture have exploited countries with resources for hundreds of years, quite literally hundreds of years. And this is the thing with pardon and forgiving. You can't pay it back. You can't pay it back, because before those hundreds of years, you know, there would have, those people who were doing the exploiting were being exploited. And it's a perpetual thing. If you go back over time, and, you know, and they talk about the karmic thing of, you know, between the Tibetans and, you know, of what happened before, and also with the Celts as well, of what happened before. There was a section of society in the last cycle, which is a little bit like Atlantis, where they had all the power and they held the other part of the world into ransom. And it didn't work. So therefore, it was the end of that cycle of the human civilization. We ended up having to go back into, you know, hiding back in caves and stuff like that. And then we gradually built back up to the situation that we have at the moment. And forgiveness is about sort of saying, okay, what happened happened, yeah, but as we go in the future here, we're going to treat each other completely different and put everyone on a, you know, on a true level scale, you know, without applying it too much on one side, because we have the keys between us. Am I whittling on too much? But we have the keys between us. We have this idea that, you know, just if you just look at Europe, yeah, in the UK, they're not very good at manufacturing. Or they're not very good at manufacturing machines like cars and so forth. But Germany, or Germans, are amazing at manufacturing cars and stuff like that. You know, German engineering is well known throughout the world, very particular, you know, it's a particular type of engineering. And the thing is, if we start using our strengths and sort of saying, Germany, you know, fantastic, you lead the way, teach us, you know, and, you know, the UK or France or Spain or whatever, or Italy or Poland or whatever, or Sweden, doesn't matter what country in Europe, you know, then you can then start playing to the strengths of the other people. Then collectively, you're going to get something that's going to be very strong. And I think that is what we need to learn. That's what the lessons that are coming out for it. Okay, let's just do a bit of clarification on that. Page of Swords with the High Priestess. It's all about feeling here. And feelings, they can be very subjective. So basically, you know, your own personal feelings, how you feel about a situation, that is the emotional sort of drive behind it. But at the same time, emotions can be very mechanical as well, in the way that they serve a purpose. You know, crying serves a purpose. It helps to release a lot of toxins within you. And I wouldn't suggest sort of like crying every day and stuff like that, but, you know, don't be afraid to cry. That's what I'm trying to sort of say here. And I think this is where, with the emotions that come into life, I think this is where we need to be a little bit more sort of grown up about our consciousness and use our emotions in a different way, by sort of seeing a situation which is not good and providing solutions, rather than sort of saying that other person's bad or that person's bad, kind of going, Okay, right, you guys are not getting on. Okay, well, look, let's find a solution. And I think that's what the overall energy is here. And it's all about finding a way of converting ideas into reality. That's the ultimate goal, basically, for Aquarius here. With the Ace of Cups, you get the Devil card. Okay, so the Devil is a Capricorn. This could be sort of like see you later, Capricorn. Pluto sort of saying see you later to Capricorn. But I think the Devil is in the detail here. And I think, I think there's a slight, this is why I said it was a shot across the bow in the energy update. I think there's a case here to be said for being wary of false prophets. And I don't mean false prophets and everything like that, because I don't think we'll have prophets anymore. The last of the prophets have come through, and now it's about collective. It's not about the messenger, it's about the message, basically. And I think that's what is helping, and we've got to define that a lot better with our energies and with our emotions. It's on our karmic path to get that really clear. The moon, what is the moon bringing up for us? It's bringing up the idea of collective combinations, how we get along with one another. And obviously it's leaning towards, the universe is leaning towards kind of going, get on nicely, have a fun. Rather than sort of, I don't think the universe or the big enchilada is sort of turning around and going, yeah, wipe these other lot out. If God is saying that, then, we're in a bad way, man. We're in a bad way. And that's also in the spiritual practices. I was talking to someone about this, and they were connected to the Galactic Council and stuff like that. They were talking about that, and I've visited that sort of thing. I've had those experiences, and I'm very, very human. And unfortunately, from my side, I could see through the games that were being played within the council. And, every politician, regardless whether from the right or from the left, they're all going to sort of say, we'll do the absolute best for you. We only think about you. But really, seriously, when you look back over time, you kind of think, yeah, man, you've been riding that merry-go-round for a long time. I think we're starting to realise it only goes round in circles, that. And there's a similar sort of thing going on that. And I think we need to put things into perspective. I actually came to the conclusion that for the Great Galactic Council, that actually I ended up finishing up saying to the Galactic Council, I said, look, excuse me, I don't mean to be horrible or nothing. You're talking about the future of the human race, but I actually think the human race is here to give you a lesson. The council. We're here to teach you. And you're not paying attention. And you're trying to tell us what to do. And I'm not sure that is the case. I don't think the Great Council should be telling us what to do. It's almost like having very old people running the world that are set in their ways from a long time ago and haven't moved on with the times. And you've got the young lot, which is the human race, turning around to the old people sort of saying, we don't want to live your madcap schemes of we're better than them sort of thing. We're going to teach you how to live together. And I think the human race has a great opportunity here. And that's what the universe wants from us for this whole sort of scenario. Let's go and see what this plan is. How have we been planning? Oh, look at that. Yeah, good. You get the moon. Yeah, we've been planning this, and it's a lot of it. The moon, as I said, is affecting those plans. All plans are to be, not everything will go right. It's the same thing in nature, and that's how nature, evolves a little bit. It's all a little bit through mistakes and a little bit of roll of a dice in a way, I've forgotten who said it. I think it was Einstein said God doesn't play dice, or was it Nietzsche? Someone said it. But yeah, I think sometimes when he's not paying attention, nature just look at the duck peel platypus. in Australia, the duck-billed platypus, you know, that was just God getting bored, surely. You know what I mean? Just having a laugh. But yeah, so, you know, we are being affected by this moon, by the emotions of it all that comes to the surface. It's making a lot of things very clear. And with the Seven of Swords, and this is where, through this clarity and seeing where it didn't quite work in the plan in the past. And when I say the past, it could well be, we could be talking about the time of Atlantis. We could be talking about the time of the Great Fire. You know, we've been through the 4 elements. If you look at Celtic crosses, they've all got spirals going up the crosses, and they all tend to go sort of clockwise direction. Apart from the last one, the 5th cycle, which goes the opposite direction, which is supposed to be nirvana, reaching heaven on earth, as it were. And this is what I think is coming round. We have this opportunity here, and this, you know, we've got pretty much all the aces out there, and playing intelligently with our energy, with our passion, and how we can use our energy in connection with the physical world to create something that is way further beyond our dreams. You know, we could get to a point where we don't actually have to communicate a lot to understand what what's going on. Communication should be then become really, really important. With the Ace of Pentacles, we get the 3 of Wands. Trial and error. Once we interact with the physical world, I don't think it's trial and error. It's basically, we need to take the time to see how our emotional and spiritual engagement with energy affects our physical world. We need that time of adjustment. And I think this first moon is all about that, is all about discovering our connection through energy and through spirit between one another, but also how that affects our physical world. So we can then choose the reality, choose the pathway that actually corresponds to us. We've got the plan in place. We're just making those final adjustments by the looks of things, collectively. Let's just have a quick look what's going on the financial side. Look at that. Page of Swords. We get the Knight of Wands. I had it in there somewhere. Knight of Wands is protecting the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, obviously. And here is about, this is the overall energy. So this is what's coming out of us. And when things go wrong, you know, when there was a famine in Ethiopia, everyone got together and tried to sort things out. I think there's a lot of other problems that needed to be sorted out that are a lot more important of how we sort of govern ourselves, would stop a lot of famines in the future. And this earth could be enormously bountiful, much more bountiful than it actually is. But we're working on this sort of passion about sort of exploring the how we can start a whole new system, a whole new way of an engagement between one another, a whole new way of being passionate about the material world, about technology, in a way that becomes a lot less detrimental to not only us but our environment. You know, there's no point ruining our environment. It will just knock out the human race. The planet will be fine. She'll pick herself back up. No worries. I do not worry about the planet at all. She knows exactly what she's doing. You know, but we need to get back onto. We need to get a new purpose in life, a real new purpose in life. With the King of Wands, look at that. You get the Hierophant. They are divine counterparts, and it's the divine counterpart here is the energy that is coming through us as a collective on the female side. And that is to do with spirit, mind, and body. And the Hierophant comes from body, mind, and spirit. And we know the steps. We know how to recreate this world, rebuild things. We have the technology. If we take the $6 million man, That wouldn't be worth it anymore, would it? 6 million, it's $6 billion man, isn't it? Or $6 trillion man. Yeah, so we know the steps that we need to take in order to get to that star card, get to the ultimate goal for us, of ultimate goal of what we should be doing within this material world, and that's getting on a mission. And we've really got to get on a mission, and we got to love it. We got to enjoy recreating everything. And this is where the universe is bringing in the Ace of Cups. We've now got twice the Ace of Cups, and it plays out with a beautiful card, which is the Temperance card, which I think is a Virgo card, an Aquarian card. Tell me if I'm wrong. You know, I've got that sort of between Aquarius and Capricorn. That's the weird thing about it. It's a sort of like goes between the two for me. But anyway, it's the universe here is, in order to enjoy what we're doing, we've got to put our heart and soul into it, into creating something new. And it's like thanking the previous generations and saying, thanks for everything you've done. We're going to do it differently now. Thank you. We've learned a lot. That's been absolutely brilliant. Yeah. No, you know, we're not going to chase after anyone. We've learned a lot. We've learned what not to do, which is great. Now we know what to do, and we need to get on and do it. We're going to, from our past, we enjoy working. As humans, we enjoy working. We enjoy creating things. We enjoy creating society. We enjoy creating towns, creating a whole persona about the town or region. And we do, you know, once we've been very vigorous in the way of emotionally engaged, of, had a lot of sort of like, for king and country, or for, for my religion, and really passionate about things and allowing the emotions to really flow into what we used to do or how we used to do it in life. And I think that needs to change. We need to get back to that idea, as well as using the material world to benefit everybody. And we saw that a bit within Atlantis. So there's good things to be taken from Atlantis, and the whole idea of the pyramid system and the stone circles and the conflict that created between the stone and the square and the circle conflicts, which were, I think that was 2 or 3 cycles ago. So we're talking sort of like maybe 50,000, 100,000 years ago, I think. I think those pyramids go back a lot longer than we think. With the tower, temperance, patience. It takes time to rebuild something. This is what I'm saying here. Enjoy rebuilding it. It's like, I don't know, you must have put up something from that famous shop from Sweden with an I and a K and an E and an A in it. Yeah. And sometimes you put something up and you just kind of think, my word. I laugh so much because sometimes it can be incredibly confusing and very frustrating. You could probably cause a lot of damage sometimes trying to make up furniture, but you might as well just laugh at it, because it's like something like a comedy program off the television. And I think that's where how we've got to approach it. That we've got to take time, we've got to enjoy that transition, that cycle, everything that goes along with it, and enjoy that space that it creates to get things wrong and kind of going, yeah, we did that really badly wrong. Okay, we're not going to do it like that. The idea is great, but we got to do it in a different way. And I think this is where we can help one another. I think we're all in this same boat. As I said, everybody and everything is connected to it, is dependent upon the earth. If we can realize that, all of a sudden we'll come out with it with a great plan. 2 of Wands. Working on a plan that we can fall in, that we can find, everyone can find their place. That everyone can find their harmony with their greater self. That they can find their own love with the situation. Or their enjoyment with the situation. It's got to be, it's although it's nice to enjoy, we can't forget about, putting in the structure to actually do it. Because we do need structure, humans. and its social structure. You know, not necessarily rules and regulations, but, you know, it's obviously, I think the structure in the future will not come through rules and regulations, but basically society sort of turns around and sort of says, no, common sense says we shouldn't really be doing this. And then that's where common sense will actually rule the place. So then if you keep doing it, people are going to get annoyed. And you should realize that. And if you're here just to annoy people, then you know, it's not going to help out the situation. It's not going to help them. It's not going to help us. And you know, and this is where we got to worry about that whole Atlantis sort of thing, where, you know, energy or technology was for the select few and not for the entire greater good. And that's why we risk to come into that. So if there's people there that just sort of like, you know, still want to continue doing stuff that is detrimental to everybody, what are we going to do with them? I'm not a great fan of prison. I'm certainly not a great fan of wars and stuff like that. But what are we going to do? Are you going to sort of kind of go, in that case, you can go and live on that island over there? That's back to that Atlantis problem. It's a real chestnut that we need to get through. And it's going to take years. It's going to take years. This is why we have to be patient about it all. It's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in a generation either. But every generation has their, you know, their piece to add to the edifice. And that's what we're doing here, people. We're deciding the groundwork for the sculpture of life, you know. So let's get on and let's just do a bit of individual sign reading. Let's just see. I'm going to pull 3 cards here. Well, I'll pull 4 cards actually, 1 for each week. And we'll go through each individual sign. We'll start with Aries and we'll go right through to Pisces. Just to sort of see how you, as a sign, the energy is going to drive you. As I say, if we play to our strengths, collectively we'll be in a really good place. So this is just sort of like seeing of your sign how you best play to your strength to help this evolutionary, this conscious expansion that we're going through. And it is a very, very fine line. That's why it's got to start with forgiveness. If we start with forgiveness, we start with a clean slate. If we start from a clean slate, we can do anything. Okay, so Aries, let's just see what's going on for you. Well, you've got the Tower here. I think you're very good at doing that. Actually, Aries, you know, you have got this, you know, be in your bonnet. It's all to do with the plan. It's all to do with the plan. That's what it is. You know, it's plan of action. And I think this is where you could be driving, you could be a very important thing of being that voice that is driving that change of completely rearranging the way we do governance, the way we do finances, the way we do healthcare, the way we do education, you know, the way we do transport, everything, because it's all connected and we shouldn't shy away from it. And also at the same time, how we connect with one another on a very emotional level, that, you know, taking down things that are just archaic and kind of going, why would you think like that? You know, why would you think that one set of people is better than another set of, you know, forget it. Okay, and I think this is where you can add your thing to the your stone to the edifice. Okay, second week, or in the second part of it, you get the 3 of Swords. Now, it is a bit of sort of like, are you willing to sacrifice yourself for the greater good? Looking at this well there, I can hear a lot of you sort of saying, no way, man. No way, Jose. But when you propose things, you've got to understand that people will turn around and criticize it. It's a natural process, so we can get the best out of that plan. Because You might be, you know, instigating that plan or sort of like really pushing that plan, but it gets defined by the collective. And I think this is where you've got to not allow your emotions to get involved in this situation here. Only get your emotions involved when you're enjoying and playing in life. That's the only time. And I think that's a real sort of how you can help the situation as well, is not by getting your emotions too involved. And this also comes with the 10 of Wands. Don't try and do too much. I know what you like, Aries. I know what you like. You know, if you think you can do something better, you'll go ahead and do it. But the problem is whilst you're doing that, if you turn, you know, like you're working with someone and you see they're struggling with something and you just kind of go, oh, look, here, look, I'll do it. The problem with that is obviously you're no longer doing what you should be doing, for the first thing. And also at the same thing, that person there may not be learning as quickly as they should do because you're doing it for them. And I think this is where you've also got to be wary about that. Be that. It's almost like you should be that person in the crow's nest, you know, in the old ships, the basket at the top sort of saying, land ahoy, or we should be going over there, or stuff like that, you know. There's a little bit of that aspect of it, rather than actually being down in the thick of it, you know, just sort of like keeping the heads up. And 5 of Wands that come out of it. Being the best example of yourself. I think you have this capacity as well to stop conflict. It can be a case that sometimes you will use conflict to stop conflict, but, you know, fight fire with fire, as it were. But at the same time, I think you have also this presence, this aura around you that sort of says, Aries is here, this is what we should be doing. And the more you get into that frame of mind, the better things will pan out for you more than anything else, or the better things will pan out for us. And I think you'll find a much better place. And then this month here, it is your turn. And this is where you've got to take the emotions out of the situation, not carry too much. It's your turn this month here, before the next supermoon, which is in September, yeah, for you to sort of like bang on the table as if to sort of say, no, look, this is how we're doing it. And you've got to stand your ground in a way. So there you go, Aries. Thanking you very much. I will see you soon. Don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Moving on to Taurus. Taurus, let's see what's going on for you. Wheel of Fortune. When you start working and start applying yourself on a mission, and you know the steps you need to take in order to get there, and Aries is going to be sorting out the tower, bringing the thing down, and you're going to be able to move on with that plan. Once you've got a plan in place, Taurus, you could be the instigator of the change in fortunes, of how we do things. The interaction between one another in the way of finances and so forth. And really just getting on as well. Yeah, getting on. You've got to obviously almost choose the direction. And in order to get that direction, you know, I think Aries is helping with that sort of tower moment to give us that clean slate. Once we got a clean slate, I think Taurus would be very good to creating that direction this month, where we should be going collectively, so you can put it into everything within your life. You get the 5 of Pentacles as well. This is possibly the side that you got to worry about. You've taken the direction with the Queen of Swords. She's actually choosing a direction to take because she's looking off the card. She's not just following orders. But you're creating a real sort of fortune about the base. The thing is, once you start doing that, obviously, you know, it's going to take time for us to get through this whole sort of thing. We need patience and so forth. You may feel like you're a little bit shut out of the cold through envy and stuff like that. And it may, the thing is, in order for it to really happen, you've got to It's really weird. We're not there yet, but it's a case of sort of saying, if we're all going to make it, you know, we got to get past the idea of money. Therefore, I'm not doing this to make myself rich. It's a real chestnut, that one. And maybe this is part and parcel of what you got to do. Yeah. Six of Pentacles with the Five of Pentacles and Six of Pentacles. You are, this month here, is to bring us in from the cold, changing that Wheel of Fortune, bring us in from the cold, so we concentrate on us, so each individual has a chance to be well. That we can really sort of saying, look, if you want to be part of this new world, you're going to have to be part of it. You can't just expect others to create it and, you know, then you to turn up and kind of put your feet under the table and kind of go, yeah, what time's dinner? This is the change of mentality that we need to go through. And I think this is where you need to show the world how to do that, Taurus. You have this capacity within you to be that type of leader. And the world needs it. So, there you go, Taurus. Next supermoon coming up in September. I'll see you there for that. Also see you for the weekly readings and the energy updates. And don't forget about that pole shift video that I'm going to be doing as well. So, yeah, just an idea for what to be doing. I'll see you soon. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun. So please do enjoy. Okay, Taurus, we're going on to Gemini. Gemini, fellow air sign here for Aquarius here, because there's been a lot about Aquarius. A beautiful sign, Gemini. Let's see what's going on for you. Queen of Wands. You have this side of you, which is a bit of a party animal, that you tend to sort of sometimes not expose because you don't want to get caught in a difficult situation. But I think here with this Queen of Wands, I think you can make the transition, or this opening pathway, this starting of this journey, you can make it a lot more fun. And maybe that's the role of the Gemini in the situation of releasing, helping people to release tension, because you know both sides of the human. That's why there's two humans in Gemini. You know both sides of it. So you can easily diffuse the situation. And I think that's what part and parcel you've got to do. You've got the Temperance. Yeah, this is it. Patience. We've seen the Temperance come out twice now in the collective reading. And this comes out in you because you are there to give that patience to the world. To be that angel that says, hey, let's take a break. Let's go for a swim and come back to it. You know, let our passions re-galvanize in something that is constructive rather than destructive. And I think that's your job here. Now, what's the underside of it? Yeah, it's going to demand a lot of strength from you. And the strength of holding your ground and not allowing it to go awry, this transition. And allow you know, keep the human race on the good vibration, on the good foot, more than anything else. And it's also, it's helping the world to confront their doubts and get past them. I think that's what you've got to be doing. And you got the Three of Wands. There is a lot of patience in here. I think this is about strength and being true to your heart. This plays out probably a lot more on the relationship side here. And certainly with the aces for you in that point. And it's being patient and getting ready to take the journey of being really strong and keeping a strong moral course. And then on the other side, you have that idea of sort of diffusing complicated situations and allowing it to be a lot more sort of easy and fun-loving transition within the material world by helping the world with its patience as well. So that's what the supermoon means for you. That's for the next month. As I say, we'll have another supermoon coming out in September the 17th. So I will see you there for that. I will also see you for your weekly readings. Don't forget, air signs out on a Sunday. and also the energy things that we do on this channel as well. We'll see you all for that. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Cancer, how you doing? Yes, let's just see how you can play to your strengths into the collective, into this transition, to help this transition and the evolving consciousness of the human race. The sun. Happy, happy times. Here comes the sun. Da, 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 da. I think it's shining a light as well on you about you being happy and enjoying life. And I think looking at your weekly readings over the past sort of month or 2 months even, I think there's a real realization that's come into your life before your birthday. And then from your birthday, it's kind of start saying, okay, well, look, now I know I'm going to do things completely differently. And it's shining a light on how you're doing this, how you're helping the transition around us by sharing your experience, but also by living it. And living your happiness is really important. Page of Cups. Yeah, I think you're helping everybody to understand that Ace of Cups that come out on the main karmic path on our spiritual path, but it also comes out as an influencer on our universal connections, which is all about patience. And I think this is what you've got with the Page of Cups. What I'm saying here as well, I think that, the message you can bring to everyone, what seemed impossible in the past, now with a breakthrough is starting to seem very possible. And it's going off on taking a leap of faith and going off on a journey, and on a journey of discovery as well. That's what the Fool is doing. And it's being, in this here, it's got a brown dog, but the dog is usually like a best friend. And when it's usually white horses and stuff like that, it's all to do with energy, as you would say, light and stuff like that. But, we get away from all of that. It's just like the energy is encouraging you to take this leap of faith and to enjoy life and to engage with life in a really good way. And to go on that journey, and then to encourage everybody around you to go on that journey of self-discovery of their own happiness. Yeah, it will make us incredibly stronger. It's going to make us incredibly stronger on the financial side. And maybe it's encouraging people here to sort of say, we've got to take this leap of faith and change the way in which we have a system here. Change the way in which we have governance, finances, everything that I said earlier on, health, transport, happiness, the whole lot. I think you'd be very good to be able to sort of stand your ground, as if to sort of say, we know that doesn't work. We've done that already. It's almost like you're being the memory of, the reminder of the human race in a really good way. But at the same time, encouraging the human race to take those possibilities and go off on a great journey of discovery, and learning about our connection to everything. Leap of faith. Okay. So yeah, there you go, Cancer. There will be in the next supermoon in September. We'll be doing a reading for that, but we've also got your weekly readings coming out on the Friday. That's coming out in a couple of days. We've also obviously got the energy readings and energy updates and so forth. I will see you soon. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Leo. Leo, how you doing? Let's just see where you come into play, playing on your strength. I think, Leo, once you get the bee in your bonnet to do something, it's got to go quickly, and you've got to start acting quickly and really getting involved. And I think this is all part and parcel. It's like invigorating that Knight of Wands and having that strength behind the King of Wands. You play a role where you can help the collective move on very quickly and get some victories quickly as well. So then people get encouraged saying, oh, this is good. Let's do more. Let's do more. Let's do more. And I think this is where you can really play to the crowd like this and encourage people. And I think it's going to help you feel a lot more empowered about who you are and your place within everything. Yeah, because as we go on, once you start moving things on quickly, we're going to understand very quickly what works and what doesn't work. And this is what you need to be pointing out to the world that is around us. So we, as a, there's, if you imagine it's like a ship, you've got someone in the crow's nest, someone pulling the sails and stuff like that. But there is someone sort of saying, it's like looking around, sort of saying, watch out for that, watch out for this. Okay, let's get this moving in this direction. There's a lot of organization going on there, and in stimulating people, and it's seeing what works and what doesn't work is going to be your way to encourage and stimulate the collective. We have the Seven of Wands. We have the Seven of Swords there. We have the Seven of Wands. This is very passionate. This plays into your energy as well. You know the path that we should be going down. And you know what works and what doesn't work. And you've got to stay true to it. And, some people will try and sort of, knock you off your perch. But I wouldn't accept it. You know the pathway. Stick to it. As long as it stays within the common sense and that everybody goes, a majority of people go along with it, it's going to flow nicely for us, for you and for everybody. And you get the Nine of Pentacles. And what you're doing here is once we start following it and knowing that pathway and encouraging confidence and courage within your fellow person that is around you to follow that, that's when we're going to get the Nine of Pentacles. That's when we're going to start getting a lot of results regularly as we go down this transitional path, which has everything to do with pole shift, which has everything to do with the age of Aquarius and everything like that. You seem to be a very strong driving sign behind this change. And I would take your part or your responsibility within that in a really big way. I think you will enjoy it. I think you will find life a lot better. It will help you to expand and open up to your true inner strengths and how you can apply it in the world that is around you. Okay, so there you go. I will see you for your weekly reading on Saturday, or for the next supermoon reading, which will be in September, or on the energy videos that we do. Whatever way I see you, it'd be lovely to see you again. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Virgo, how you doing? Happy birthday to all you Virgos out there. It happened just before your sign, the supermoon. This blue moon, which brought a lot of emotions to the surface. And there was a lot of other things going on, which converted those emotions into certain acts, which we've seen around the world, which we need to get our heads around. But yes, your birthday season, this is at the moment. So let's see how you can apply yourself in this month here for this coming month. You get the Hierophant. Yeah, beautiful. Where was the Hierophant? Hierophant, where are you? Oh, there it is. You know the steps we need to take. So we need to do this, then we need to do this, and then we need to do that. And that's probably, you probably need to do this through communication as well. There's a lot of communication of how we go about things to get the good results. And it's because you've got that persistent search for perfection. I think this can help the human race enormously. The collective, you can help the human collective enormously with that perfection of sort of saying, if we want to get there, people, these are the steps we've got to take. And what we're doing here, we need to adjust this, that, and the other. And it's a softer role to Leo. Leo has also got a role to play, very similar sort of thing to that, but they're more sort of motivation. And I think this is where you're working to a plan or sticking to a plan and having a plan in place, which probably comes out with other signs, much more sort of to do, I'd say with Aries and stuff like that. But we'll wait to see on the other signs. I've got a funny feeling, Capricorn or Aquarius could give us a bit more of a heads up. But here is where you have got this spiritual aspect about it all, and you can give us that softer side to motivation. and very much more joyous side to motivation. Maybe that's the rules that you need to know in order to get there. And we got the Nine of Swords. I've got to say, the Nine of Swords, it was sort of upside down when it first came round to me, but I'm turning out the right way. Yeah, and I think this is what you're relieving, and I think this is the softer side. You're relieving the woes and worries of the collective and helping the collective to be very much at peace with oneself and how the pathway we're going down, helping the collective to get past those repetitive nightmare scenarios that we keep doing to ourselves. That seems to be your role. There is, you get the Two of Swords as well. I don't think this is a choice. I think this is an evident path, really. But I think this is where you're helping people to stay on the pathway. It's helping people by sort of saying, look, we could do this, because you don't want to be, this is not where you have to direct the world. You only have to direct your immediate surroundings, or be that person within your immediate surroundings, within your friends, your family, to be that voice. Because there's going to be many Virgos across the world that are going to be that voice. And collectively, we will get to the similar sort of plan, as it were. And this is where you've got to help people to make that choice to go forth and live it fully. And at the top, you get the Queen of Cups. Where was the Queen of Cups? Over there. All to do with the financial side more than anything else. Very interesting. You know, how we do business together, how we treat one another, I think is going to be really, really within your sort of remit as well. Because you seem to know the steps that we need to take to get there. And this is how you're going to bring joy to the situation. Really connect ourselves with our emotional side of life through the physical, through the material side of life. So yeah, that's for you this month here. Next supermoon on September the 17th, we'll do another reading for that. If not, you've got your weekly readings coming out on Thursday. Or we've got the energy videos as well. So I might see you wherever I see you. It'd be lovely to see you again. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun. So please do enjoy. Okay, so we're moving on from Virgo to Libra. Libra, how you doing? Let me just bring in that last card there. So let's just see how you can best pull on your strengths to help this transition that we're sort of going through. Two of Cups, unison. Yeah, I think this is a plan. I think this is a unison as well as spirit. You're very much in, you know, Libra is those scales of justice. And scales are the justice is meant to be fair and honest. And I think this is what you're bringing to the situation. If we're going to live together in a very harmonious way, we have to be fair. And I think this is where you can play to your strengths of bringing your fairness to the situation. But also at the same time, you are an incredibly intuitive and high ideal person. You've got lots of ideas. And that's what that Page of Swords is all about. We saw it on the overall energies there. Converting ideas into reality. And it's got to be, to convert those ideas into reality, it has to be done on an even playing field. I'm a believer of equal opportunity rather than equal outcome. Equal opportunities is far much more productive. It's the same in nature. It's the natural way of doing things. Nature is all about the equal opportunity. Each seed has a chance to grow. Doesn't necessarily mean each seed is going to be, you know, a big oak tree. So, you know, I think it's a fair opportunity more than anything else. And the Ace of Wands, it does play into this side on the emotional side. And with this fairness, I think it's going to invigorate you a lot more. I think it's going to make you feel a lot more happy about life. And this out with the old and in with the new, it's working on a new plan. I think is really going to stimulate you. It's going to make you feel that, yeah, you know, we can do it. And as I said for Virgo, that's done on a local basis. You know, there's Librans across the world that are doing this, you know, a similar sort of effect on their local sort of friends and family, the people that are really close to you. That's how the change is going to happen. It's going to happen very, very close to you. But it's across the board, it's going to change. And I think this new wave is going to be very stimulating for you, and it's going to show to you as well the obvious path that that you should be following and that we should be following, and being determined about this, and allowing your passions, allowing your your fire and your confidence really to grow, because you know the path. And it's resisting in that, it's resisting the people just trying to take, who might be a little bit sort of jealous of your position. You just got to resist it. Follow your passions as you go through. So then, therefore, you can convert the ideas into reality. And all of those converting of those ideas into reality are going to be based around fairness that is totally true. Okay? I will see you on the next reading, on the next supermoon reading, or on your weekly reading, which comes out on Sunday, or on the energy videos. Whatever it is, Libra, it'd be lovely to see you again. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Okay, moving on from Libra, we're going on to Scorpio. Scorpio. Let's just see what's going on for you. Four of Pentacles. Do you know, the old scales of weighing in the markets was called the Scorpion. I've explained this before, I think, for you. And this is where you get your sign from. It is from the old scales in the Middle East. That's what they used to call them. And I think this is where you come into your strengths as well. I think you're very good at, say, like human rights and, being fair in the physical treatment between people. That's almost your role in a way. And I think this is where you should be able to stand up without being lambasted by the rest of the world, because that's your biggest fear. But you should be able to stand up and sort of say, no, we shouldn't be doing this, we should be doing that in the physical world. And that is your message to bring. That Knight of Cups, you're bringing this whole sort of like happiness and wisdom that we can have within our, our collective, by being very straight and honest of our physical interaction between one another, of how we physically treat one another, could be financially or whatever. And the sun comes out, and this is the other side of Scorpio. Your happy party side, which is when you're feeling in a good way, Scorpio, you're one of the best people to party with. There is no doubt about it. But you've got to be feeling good about the settings, the scenario, the people, the context, everything like that. Once you start carrying that message this month here, I think you're going to feel a lot happier about allowing your happiness to shine, allowing your happiness to be seen across the world around you. And then you also get the Emperor. Did we get the Emperor out somewhere? No, we didn't. I thought we did. No, we didn't. Okay, so you get the Emperor card here. And I think this is where you will find a new strength from this message you're giving, which comes from an idea of being very just in the exchange between people. And that's going to make you feel very much more happier about your position within the collective, within your family, within your friends. And within that happiness and that comfortable sort of setting, you're going to be able to sit in your power a lot more and control that physical environment, because that's what the Emperor does. He controls his empire through the physical aspect of life. The Empress controls it through the emotional side of life. So that is your role in this month coming here, of sitting in your power, because you know what the fair exchange is between one another, and allowing that happiness to sort of shine through actually it works a lot better for us, and carrying that message, carrying that wonderful gift you have of being very fair in the world and very straight with the world, that it becomes very much more beneficial for everybody involved, for the common sense. So there you go, Scorpio. I will see you on the your weekly reading, which is on Friday, or I'll see you on the next super moon reading, which is on the 17th of September, or I'll see you on any of the energy videos, whichever way it is. It'd be lovely to see you again. In the meantime, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. So moving on from Scorpio to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, let's just see what's going on for you. For this, how you can affect or how you can play your strengths into the world around you. This is really trying you, actually, because over the past year or so, it's been difficult sometimes, I think, for Sagittarius to make decisions. Okay, I think that power is building back in you. I've seen that over the last 2 months. It's been absolutely brilliant. The Sagittarius coming back to full flight and full power, as it were. And I think here is where you're encouraging people to make the decision. You're helping people to step into the new way of doing things. That's how I think you're affecting your friends, your family, your community, the people that are around you. You're helping people to make decisions, and you're lending strength to the situation. You're helping people to see off their doubts and to be strong and true to this transition that we're going through. And you only need to make a decision yourself here. Once you make this decision, Sagittarius, and you start going along that pathway, you will not resist yourself by saying to other people, oh, look, make the decision, it's brilliant. Yeah, I've been going down it. Made the decision to work towards common sense rather than governance, and it's fantastic. It's really, really nice. It makes me feel really empowered. And that's when you can encourage and help the strengths in others. Then you get the Four of Pentacles. Now, this is all about, I still think this is about you encouraging people to take that first step into a new world. Encouraging the people that are holding on too tightly. Sort of saying, what have you got to lose? We're all going down that way now. What have you got to lose? Just do it. It'll be fun. It'll be great. You'll enjoy it. We'll all enjoy it. And I think also is a degree of here of being blatantly honest how, what we should do physically, engaging with other people. How you engage the moral side of the physical interaction between us. I think that's really important. And then you get the sun. Everyone seems to be getting the sun, which is really good. It's all about happiness. And that is your happy-go-lucky side that is within you. You know, that fire that is most beautiful within you. That humorous side, that joking side that you have so strong within your sign. And you can use that humor, that joy to the benefit for everybody. To help people, take the first step down the journey by engaging with their happiness, and helping them by explaining sort of like, this is how we do things in the physical world. This is how we interact with one another, and staying true to that sort of common sense goal and that courage that you have within you. And once we stay true to it, that's when the decisions are going to be pretty straightforward. That we're going to really know where we're going. It's going to be a no-brainer for us because you're doing your job. There you go, Sagittarius. I will see you on Saturday for your weekly reading. We also got the energy videos that we do. Be lovely to see you wherever it is. I will see you soon. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Capricorn, let's just see for you how you are going to be playing in with that transition. You get the Eight of Swords. You saw that in your weekly reading last week, actually. And this week that's just gone past, actually. Oh, it's a bit of a giveaway it's coming out tomorrow, actually. Eight of Swords. I think it was this week, or it might well have been last week. But anyway, Eight of Swords. I think this is where you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I think this is where you're helping. What you're doing is you're being a consistency that the world can then have that patience to move from one side to the other. And I think this is where you, with consistency, will be able to sort of say, you know, let's not get rid of this because this works. You will be looked upon and frowned upon as that sign that's holding us back. But at the same time, I think it's going to liberate you, because it's going to help you to come out of your shell a little bit. Because sometimes, Capricorn, it's difficult. You get stuck in your house sometimes and don't ever move. But at the same time, I think it's a double-edged sword here. There's a way of sort of like respecting the traditions, but also allowing future stuff to happen. Yeah, you are. I think you are a prime driver behind this Wheel of Fortune that we're going through as a collective. And you are driving that fortune within you. You know, it's mainly fixed signs, the Wheel of Fortune. It gives us the east, north, and west. But, you know, you have that cardinal aspect about you. And I think once you liberate yourself, but at the same time being very traditional about the way you go about things, that's when you're going to find things start working, not only for you, but for the world around you. And then we get the Two of Wands. Yeah, this is playing towards a plan. And I think this is very much the earth signs as well. You're creating a plan out of your observation through Pluto over the past 16 years. I think you're the sign that actually has come to a point of standstill to sort of say, okay, this is the new plan. This is how we're going to do things. And it seems to be that you're offering this plan that is a complete Wheel of Fortune moment for the outside world. It's being the ideas person about the new way in which we do things, how we apply the common sense. And it is a bit of a leap of faith. I think it's a bit of a leap of faith for you, but I think it's more of a leap of faith that you're encouraging the world around you. That's your family, your friends, your community, the people that you work with, to take that leap of faith, to move into something that is completely different and to free the world up. Okay? That is your role to be playing in this next month. Okay, so yeah, leap of faith. Encourage that. Encourage for people to believe in the future, I think, and believe in a plan that you know where you're going, Capricorn. I think you're going to be one of those signs that are going to be knowing exactly where you're going, and you will become a leader and changing the fortunes of the world and freeing up not only yourself but everybody that is around you. I will see you on your weekly reading, which comes out on Thursday, or on the energy videos that we do on this channel. Whichever way or where I see you, it'd be lovely to see you again. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Aquarius. What is going on? What is going on with the cards? Aquarius, let's just see how it plays out in you. And obviously, I said on another sign, I forget which sign it was, I think that Capricorn and Aquarius are going to be one of the two signs that are going to be leading the way at the beginning of the transition. And I think it probably lays more on the shoulder of the Aquarian than on the Capricorn. Okay, let's just see what's going on for you. Yeah, you need to make this decision. You need to one that needs to step in and be a leader in this whole direction. You're the sign that has that humanity, has that sort of, okay, that was the past. Yeah, we've done it wrong. We were not nice to each other in this way and that way, but this is how we're going to do it in the future. You know, forgive and forget and start working on something else. Yeah, exactly. Forgive and forget. Ten of Swords, it says on there, everything is fine. But actually, something, you know, it's a decision to make. You're making the decision, sort of saying the old world is dead, done and dusted with. You know, live the new world we're going into. Live the new world. And then you get the Knight of Wands. And it is for you to drive off on this this passionate mission that you can really get your teeth into, I think. And making the decision to actually start that passionate journey within your environment around you with friends, family, community, and so forth. Once you start doing that, that's when it's going to really start humdinging in the world. You only have to do it on your immediate surroundings. if everybody does it on their immediate surroundings, it is going to change the world in a big way. And I think that's what your job is, to actually do that. And then you get the Seven of Cups. The reason you're making a decision about how we should be evolving, and that's where you're making a decision how it evolves in your life, and therefore the collective, making that decision, it's a no-brainer, and being a leader and realizing what is dead, done and dusted with, finished with, so we can move in. That's why we're making the decision, so we can move into a new dimension. And following that new dimension is that passion that comes through you. And then you get the Seven of Cups. Now, the Seven of Cups is all about the evident path. And the evident path according to the emotions in life that we can see on both sides. And you have this sort of patience within you that you can have with the rest of the world around you. And that patience is going to help people see what they should be doing, and kind of making people realize, kind of go, oh yeah, right. That's why I think you'll be very good at making the decision of kind of going, okay, everybody, let's move on to the next stage. That's going to be, you're going to be that driving force behind all of this sort of change, and really passionate about it. But it's by recognizing what we need to let go of will be the decision that, you know, that we need to make. And you've probably got to make it first of all and be the shining example for everybody else. There you go, Aquarius. You got your weekly reading coming out on Sunday. I'll see you there for that, or the energy stuff that we do on this channel. Yes, I'll see you there. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Pisces, how you doing? Yes, we'll see how you are connected with this transition after the blue moon of Aquarius. It came in August, and with those 4 moons that we're going to be going through, the super moons, it's a real transition from Pisces era. So this is the end of your era, really, as we move into the age of Aquarius. So it's a real change for you, and things will be, this is where you can, with your zippy, vibrant energy, you could be a real driving force behind the speed of change. And also the speed of change, when things start changing, and they start changing quite quickly, we're going to get results quickly. And I think this is where you can, your enthusiasm for life, or your enthusiasm generally, that can be a major driving force behind the big change. Yes, with the enthusiasm, you get the Knight of Wands. It is a very passionate future. And you have a lot of fire within you, which can drive those changes. And once it starts moving, and I think you should be really instigated in that whole sort of kind of going, come on then people, let's do it. What are we doing? Who's doing what? You're doing that. You're doing this. That's right. Let's go. Let's do. And, you know, being really, really vibrant about the change of fortunes, obviously, and the evolutionary process of consciousness that we're going through. And it's going to help people to get very passionate about it. And I think that's what your job is as well. Get passionate about instigating it with your friends, your family, your community, the people who are directly around you, trying to encourage that being passionate about the future, about getting behind a plan of common sense, of getting behind a plan of collective consciousness that comes out of it all. It will empower you enormously. I think you'll bring a lot of knowledge and understanding to the situation about how not to give up, you know, of the situation. And you get the High Priestess, which you've got at the top there as well. You've got 2 cards now from the overall energy. You wish to be a real centerpiece within your community and the people that are around you by being having that driving force, that passion that you can have for life, is gonna drive everybody towards a greater future. And I think that's probably what your role and your job is. And you can do that through your experiences in life, about what you've learned along your pathway. It's going to encourage it, because you are one of those signs that have had to rebuild a lot in your life. where things just go wrong and rebuild. Very much along the lines as Pisces, Cancer and Capricorn as well, that tends to do that sort of thing. And it's rebuilding is really what you're good at. And it's the way in which you rebuild is getting passionate about another thing. And that's where you can help the general collective advance enormously quick. There you go, Pisces. I will see you for your weekly reading on Friday, or I'll see you on the energy things that we do on this channel. Whichever way it is, it'd be lovely to see you again. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.